This is House of Machismo. With K-Rod. Pretty Boy Dan. Sauce. Just Albert. And your host, Marty. This is House of Machismo.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the House of Machismo podcast. And I have, looking all Abercrombie and Fitch over here, Pretty Boy Dan. Oh, sorry. You know, you think after 5 years I got this thing down. Okay, sorry.
I guess that's not a bad compliment, I guess, to have after looking.
Well, you look like a 40-year-old Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids.
Yeah. And then I have Just Albert.
Hey, it's just me.
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on there. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's just me. I just woke up this morning
Well, we all did.
and I just rolled out of bed and said, you know, I'm just gonna throw a hoodie on. I got nothing under here.
So every day you do. Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, no, I got a tank top. But.
Oh, okay. Well, then
But
that
then,
doesn't...
man, but you're trying to go with it. You're over here trying to investigate now. You're gonna tell me to,
Yeah, I know. I was like...
no, you're gonna be like, hey, Albert, lift up your shirt for the fans.
No, that's K-Rod. They would say that.
Yeah, he really would.
And to be honest, nobody would say that. You would still do it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
You don't have to pay me for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I take off my clothes just for fun.
That's for the orange. That's for the orange YouTube.
Orange YouTube.
Yeah.
What's orange YouTube?
The one that's been, quote unquote banned here in Texas.
Oh, the hub. The hub. I was like, orange YouTube. What are you talking about? Nah, man, we'll make that into a different type of House of Machismo situation.
And then we have a special guest today. I love it when we have special guests here.
Indeed.
Yes,
indeed.
absolutely. Yes, everybody rub their hands
Yeah,
together.
rub their
and all
hands
that.
together.
Yeah, exactly. We have Emanuel Jones, or as everybody likes to call him, E.
Or we have another name for you. What is it called?
Which one?
Which one? The man, the myth.
Yeah, I go by many names.
Yeah, the weightlifting god. The man who has taught me to stop eating like a fat ass. Because, boy, I was lifting weights. But then when I started eating right, when he got me on a meal plan, whole different ball game, sports.
All about your diet, man.
Man,
all
he ain't
about your
lying.
diet.
The man, Jim Jones. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid, guys. I'm in it. I'm in it. All right, let's give a round of applause.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
This is the man that's responsible for how you look.
Really is. You know, I still look
That's
like
not really a bunch of credit that he may want to take at the moment. But
Yeah, not right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I get to that San Diego trip, when I'm shirtless,
Yeah.
that's when he's gonna take all the credit. He's like, yeah, that's me, boys.
dang, all those women in California be like, oh my God, he looks like my dad.
Hey man, dad bods are in season right
Yeah, they
now.
are.
I heard.
He's going to sell me a pizza.
Fuck y'all. Oh shit.
No, I see your progress. I see your progress.
Nah, man, you're all the progress, brother. You're all, man. You
Okay.
lost all that weight.
Yeah, everybody's just.
We do a lot of dick sucking around here, apparently. So Jesus. Anyway.
Have fun, man.
Yeah. Right. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us. I know Albert's definitely wanted you on the show for quite a while, and we're trying to arrange it and all that. And so finally, you're here. Love your car. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
I'm all like, man, that car looks like it is not enjoying itself driving so slow down the alley. It's like, that's a fast car that. But
sometimes I need an alley like that to take my foot off of it.
right, exactly. Have you ever been down such a bumpy alley?
Yes,
Yeah.
downtown Dallas is.
Oh well, yeah, that's true.
God,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, your car just cries like, no, not here again.
Yeah, it's horrible, man.
Okay,
So,
all right. But yeah, that spoiler is like it's taller than I am. You know, it's almost like, man, that puts my Ford Focus into shame, guys. It really does.
Man,
it really does.
I pulled up and I'm like, wow, Alonzo really cashed that pay ours right here.
He turned in his Miata.
I was gonna say, man, Alonzo's getting paid well by Marty.
I know, right? He's like, he has that condo now in California, guys.
Yeah, right
So-
off of San Diego Beach for some reason.
Yeah. So basically, you're here because we definitely got like a lot of fitness questions, and I've been told that you're definitely the man to ask.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah, and you're a personal trainer.
Yep.
And obviously you can tell, you know, so when Albert does this, you can kind of see stuff, but I just kind of assume you're not even doing it, and you can tell that you know, your arms are just at rest, and you can tell.
Yeah, I put a lot of time in, man.
Yeah.
Put a lot of time in.
Okay. And because you started posting videos and stuff on your Instagram, one of the ones that I'm very impressed with, and it is you, right? As a kid, you jump on top of that car.
Yeah. So the thing about that is, I like that video so much because that was maybe 4 months after I tore my ACL. So I wasn't supposed to be doing any of that.
Oh, okay.
But that was 2011.
2011?
Yeah, that was 2011.
Jeez. I was a full-fledged adulting, you know, right then and there.
Well, I was too. I was
okay.
21. I was about to be
Oh, you were
21.
21. Oh, okay. I need to take a look at that video. I could have sworn you were like 14, 15 years old or something like that.
I was real
Damn.
smart. I was real smart.
Power
Okay.
of youth right there. Dan, what were you doing in 2011?
I was right about to graduate high school.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, we are close to the same age.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was about to say, I was like, what was I doing in 2011? I was like, oh yeah, I was like a sophomore or junior.
What are you, 20? You're 29.
Yeah, I'm 29.
And then how old are you?
I'm 32.
32.
32.
Oh, I thought you were like closer to 40.
Yeah, you know, it feels like that every day, especially going out with comedians like that.
Oh,
How the
okay.
30s been for you?
It's been pretty good. You know, I got my first house, you know, paid off my car.
Oh, cool.
He's
So-
financially
I'm
responsible.
financially
Yeah.
responsible,
Yeah.
investing in soccer teams across in Europe for some reason because I'm a lunatic.
This is why. This is why he does not invest into women because he's investing into his stocks.
well,
That's what he's
you know,
doing.
women they want a lot. These
Albert,
days,
I'm trying to
so
tell
I
you,
gotta
you need to-
invest my kingdom.
You need to start building a portfolio.
I know.
Yeah.
But I
Mr.
have a portfolio of other things, you know.
I can tell, but I'm all like, you want to quit doing what you're doing. You know, sometimes there are different options that you can do. But anyways, that's not what we're here for.
That's why we got the
here
tripod for. you know?
Yeah,
So we got the
exactly.
tripod. We're gonna do some other different portfolio you know.
Yeah,
diving
you're
on.
diversifying.
Yeah,
your
diversifying.
OnlyFans. Got it.
You got the portfolio, right? The women will come, man.
Yeah. I'm already gonna install a mirror on my ceiling. So yeah, it's gonna get wild up in here. Man.
Albert, at least have it professionally installed.
It is. I got my primos from Home Depot. We're gonna get that shit professionally installed with a 12-pack.
They're like, yeah, we'll just use some liquid nails. It'll hold.
Yeah, you're going too far, my brother. You might
Yeah.
want to reel that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Nah, we gotta go in, man. I gotta go all the way. Gotta make that money.
You gotta wait till you lose those love handles, bro.
Yep.
You know,
Hey, man, some people are chubby chasers, man. Let the women chase.
this is because you had posted this video of you lifting some weights, and but when I texted the guys, the focus wasn't on you; it was on the background, and it was.
I know which video you're
Yeah, Mr. in the background and all that. I'm like, who the fuck let this, person, this rhino into the? It's like, it's awesome seeing these in the wild. You know,
So the funny thing is that E told me that he actually had to turn off the volume off that video because he said all you could hear was my heavy breathing and stomping on the treadmill. He was like, Albert, look, man, I love you and all, man, but we're going to have to work on your breathing because we thought you were hyperventilating on the treadmill.
Or like we're pretty sure there was like a 3.2 earthquake.
Yeah, they had to go get that. They had to get that treadmill professionally calibrated after I was done.
I'm talking about someone was about to press that emergency blue button that's always on the walls or something because they're like, oh my god, I think he's having a heart attack.
It was close enough, man. I didn't know what was beating harder, my breathing or my heart. Either way, cardio is. I hate cardio.
Oh, yeah, that was when you first started it, too.
Yeah. He was like 20 minutes, Albert. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? Now I'm doing 30 minutes with ease. I mean, I'm sweating a lot, but I'm not even breathing that heavy. He still makes fun of me for my cardio, but yeah.
So it sounds like you
Oh,
should
yeah.
intensify your workout if you're not.
Oh no, for real though. Like for real, like right now, and he was like, "Yeah, go ahead and get another plate, fat ass." He told me straight up, "Oh God, let me not do that."
I didn't warm up tortillas this morning because I just kind of figured you were going to get here late.
Yeah.
And well,
I just eat.
yeah. So I'm all like, I'm not going to do that just for Albert. So
Nah, see,
you know.
you know, it is what it
He
is.
should be encouraged not to have the tortillas.
And I have not been. I was like,
That's
well,
good.
the last time I didn't even eat the tortilla, I just threw it all in the plate and just started scrambling down. I am gonna get a second plate though.
Nah, I'm going to get one,
Obviously.
after this morning. Jeez.
Good.
I make pretty good breakfast. I'm just saying. But anyway,
Pretty-
years of experience. Okay, so how's everybody doing? We need to warm up the show a little
yeah, we
bit.
do.
Yeah. I'm doing all right, man. I'd say it was wild.
It's
man.
your fault that we started so late, by the way.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, we're lucky that we're starting at all. If you were expecting on maybe because on Thursday night, I almost died. I was doing a nightcap with the comedians. I decided I wanted to show forth them around because they get me into places for free, and so I was like, well, I'd rather take care of my friends than have some random people drive them and maybe save them $1 or $2.
Yeah, sounds right.
So we had a nightcap. I left around 11:30 from downtown Fort Worth, and of course on Thursday it was raining. It was raining hard.
Yeah.
And so I'm just chilling, going 65 miles per hour on the highway like one does. And either someone was behind me or they were just straight in the fast lane the entire time. They were going like 90. They either hit a oil slick or their ball joint in their vehicle broke off.
Oh wow.
Because they spin out right in front of me and then they slam against the barricade in the highway and all of a sudden a wheel just goes like a tumbleweed across the highway and I'm like, wow, that's a thing. Luckily enough, I was about one car length away from all of that happening, but I was the closest person there, and
See,
so I was like pulled over, and I'm like,
I hear this, Dan, and I feel like you're the type of person where something bad is happening. You're like Will Ferrell off of Talladega Nights, like, yep, I'm in the air. I feel like that's what you're driving. You're driving, you see this happening, you're like, oh, look at that. That's a wheel approaching my vehicle. I think I'm about to hit it. All right, guys, it was nice. No, like I feel like it's so monotone for you. I feel like that's how you're gonna die.
Well, I mean, that's
monotone.
kind of how I had to be, because a couple of years back, I was drinking, right? I was drinking.
Do I hear a
and
Boston accent from you?
I don't know. I don't do Boston.
I know,
I don't
that's
even know
why I'm
how
all
to do
like-
a Boston accent.
I know.
so-
That's why I'm all like, okay, but go on.
But a couple of years back, so I work in an engineering firm, and one of my technicians had food poisoning, and so everyone at a 1 o'clock in the morning job or midnight job, they just weren't going to show up, and they're like, "Well, this is like a 900-yard pour. We're talking probably $50,000-$60,000, actual inspection kind of thing." And so I was like, well, I can't do it because I don't have my truck or any equipment, but I can bring you some cylinder molds and you can make them yourself and we could test them. Well, I'm driving at 1 o'clock after delivering these cylinders. There's this brand new bridge over in Fort Worth, and there's construction around there. So I'm driving. I'm just minding my own business. Only car on the road. There's a 2001 white Ford F-150 coming, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. There's the lights. The lights shouldn't be on this side of the road. And the closer it gets, I'm like, oh, he's on this side of the road. And so we're going like 45, 50, almost looking to have a head-on collision. And luckily enough, I guess he sobered up enough saying, oh, shit, there's going to be a head-on collision. And we both turned in the same direction. Also an awful thing because then it would have just made contact with my gas tank.
So both of
and
y'all
I
lost the
boom.
game of chicken.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I'm saying.
And then, luckily enough, my 2017 Ford Fusion, and God rest it. I mean, it's in the driveway. I don't know why I was about to say God rest its soul. It had enough maneuverability.
Watch it not start when you leave. Anyway.
It had enough maneuverability where I was able to do like this really precision driving and got
Okay.
around no damage whatsoever.
Okay, Tokyo Drift, I see you, man.
And so it was wild. And I'm like, I could have died there. Like we were going 50 miles per hour head on collision. There's no way I wouldn't have died there.
Yeah.
But this on Thursday night, right? I call the cops because I'm like, that's probably the legitimate thing to do. So
Yeah, good person.
I do that, and then somehow I'm not even entirely sure how it works. This because it was like a red Acura of sorts. It decides it wants to leave. It decides it wants to leave. So I see it driving off with 3 wheels and like sparks coming off the road. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess.
He must have been a professional football player or something.
I'm like, well, I guess if nobody's hurt and he was the only car involved in the collision, I guess it's not that bad. But I didn't expect the car to function with 3 wheels.
Yeah, hey man, maybe if you do it, I guess you can. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he make it pretty far?
I waited for the cops because I called them. I was like, well, I guess I'll tell them what happened. And they're gone now. But I couldn't find them when I drove off about 5-10 minutes later. I'm like, well, I guess they got off the exit somewhere.
Yeah, they lived it.
They lived. So
Poor car.
but yeah, no, it was that's how the weekend started. That's
That's
wild.
a pretty good advertisement for Acura.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You want the new NXX? You only need 3 wheels to drive it. Only $850 in the world.
All right, Albert, top that.
Oh shoot! All right, well I'll make mine less boring, less interesting because I ain't do shit.
Oh, well, then why bother?
Yeah, I know, right? Why bother? Yeah. Okay, no. Here, funny thing. Friday night, I went out to the truck yard around the corner from my place.
Okay.
And I have never seen a group of college frat boys try to fight amongst each other. It wasn't like, oh, they're trying to get into beef with someone else over there. But me being the person that I am, my homeboys here are talking some nerd stuff. They're talking about the new Superman movie and who should do what. And it's cool. I'm listening. But then I hear a better conversation over here to my right.
Bro.
No. It was more it's more like this, man. Bro, who slept with Christina last night?
Oh yeah.
Oh, isn't that Mikey's girlfriend? Oh, so you fucked Mikey's girl.
Oh, so everybody wants Mikey's girl.
I guess, bro. I guess Mike. I wanted to see
Or
her.
Mikey.
I wanted to see Mikey's girl.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. Mikey then shows up.
Ain't no fucking way.
Yo,
hold
it's
on,
Mikey.
hold on. So my friends are still talking. They're like, Albert, you good? You all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I'm checking out the place. I'm scoping. I'm trying to see beautiful women. Nah, dog, I'm actually trying to hear the cheese man on the right side. Well, this is where it gets good. Mikey's like, hey, man, yo, my girl didn't come home last night. And I'm thinking like, oh, I thought y'all were like frat boys. Y'all lived amongst the same, giant house and more of like, to the room.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, I guess like a group of them left, and it's just, I guess Mikey and another dude. Dude's like, hey, man, I don't know how to break this to you, but I think Christina's with Joe. Yeah. Boom, right there and then. Here's Mikey. I just hear this, and this is what made me try not to laugh in front of my homeboys. I hear, no, man, not Joe. No, please, anyone but him.
Oh, wow.
Why was he the ugly one?
I don't know who Joe is.
Oh,
But when next thing you know, I guess the whole group comes back with shots.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
alcohol.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
alcohol
no.
and frat boys. I love it, man. I love it. Even though they pissed me off, this time I'm intrigued. I'm like, I want the violence. Bring it to me.
so do you think it was right for that particular guy to tell Mikey? I mean, I don't know how we could properly handle that.
Hey, it ain't my business. All I know, it was my ear to listen. That's all I'm here for.
Let's take it. Let's take it from the House of Machismo perspective.
Yeah, let's
It's
break
like
it down.
it's the 5 of us. The cast, and let's just say Dan finally does get some. But it's with K-Rod's ex, I guess, or I don't know what they are. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. So but we know, but K-Rod doesn't know. So is it our job to tell K-Rod? Is it our
It's your job.
You know?
No, that would be my job.
It's your job to ruin his life.
Yeah.
But he isn't gonna come clean.
Then you know.
So do we just leave? We know the secret, we know it, but we see K-Rod. So do we tell him, or do we not say anything? Do we maybe encourage Dan to confess to K-Rod?
Well,
or do we let it slip and see what happens? Or do I bring it up on the show?
I don't know. Well, here's my thing.
Marty, I told you not to tell.
Here's my thing. First rule of bro code, guy code, whatever you want to call it. It's a code.
It's broken. I know what you're talking about.
Code of conduct. You don't sleep with your boys.
Right.
Whatever. Like even if it's a pass fling, like if you don't get the signature of approval, you don't do that. Like, yeah, bro, that's disrespectful. But if it already happened, let's say it already happened, and we're on the outside looking in, I don't know. I have never been in that situation, and usually when it did happen, in all honesty, the friendship is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the friendship is gone. That meant, and it also meant more of there was already no friendship to begin with. Like that's one thing. Like if you automatically go and sleep with your boy's girl, ex fling, anything like that, you already had no respect for your boy. So
Because something like that did happen.
oof.
I remember that. It wasn't like actual like sleeping with or sex or anything like that.
It was
But
texting.
it was Facebook messaging.
Yeah, that's still,
And,
no, that's still disrespectful, bro. If it ain't about business and
But I think that the friend that was doing it didn't know that they were an item. Well, because look, when a guy will have many different friends and will have like maybe 20 different girls.
okay, yeah, if he has a stable of women,
You
and,
know.
and he does not tell you about the stable,
Right.
and you get caught, then there's that situation of like, all right, cool. There's just a miscommunication, and then after that, you handle it forward of like, all right, cool. Either both of y'all stop talking to her, or one of y'all has to, one of you has to give the approval of like, all right, well, you know what, her and I never really even did anything, so hey, that's all you, Playboy.
Or you could do Rochambeau, rock, paper, scissors. Winner,
Well, that's how we're gonna decide like who tells who. By the way, on the show.
Yeah, that's when we'll snitch you out.
Yeah.
Like, who has to snitch you out?
How would y'all handle that? Would y'all want to know if like y'all were on the other side of that?
You know what? In
I
all
would.
honesty, I would.
Yeah.
I would. I'd rather someone tell me like, "Hey, dog, look, bro, I had a little fling with your fling, or yada yada." Because then it's like, if I know you did it out of spite,
Yeah.
or you did it and you knew I was already going on it, then it's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna be angry. Things might happen, but at the same time, I have a little bit more respect for you. But now let's say I find out on my own.
No, yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's a different story. Because then, like I said, there's no mutual respect amongst each other. Now, let's say it's a vice versa situation. Let's say it's a different situation of like I said, I had a stable of women, or Dan had a stable of women, and we get caught talking to that girl. Then it's a different story because now it's like, oh, I never knew. And Dan's like, yeah, man, sorry, bro. I really don't tell people who I talk to. And then it's like, all right, well, you know what? Either I back off or he backs off or we both back off. Like, you know what? She for the streets, bro. We don't need her. That's it.
Yeah.
It's always a mutual respect situation. If you don't have respect for your boy and you guys get caught talking to the same girl, you'll find out if you actually have respect for your boy or he has respect for you or there was none at all. You'll find out right there and then.
True that.
Usually I'm too paranoid. Like I already think something's already going on. I don't for me, I'll figure it out pretty quick. You know, so but it's nothing like. And my reaction is it'll either be cool or confrontation is a whole different thing because I have to be 100% certain.
True.
But to have like the clues, the context clues are all there for me. Like I said, I can figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I also don't know what's going on with it. Like where is that going or something like that. With that scenario that I put on there.
Yeah. Mikey's girl situation. Yeah.
Well, no. The other one where it's like they were talking.
Oh, yeah.
The person, they used to go out and then they came to the mutual conclusion that they're just friends and that's all they are. And so when the other person put up a comment, you know, we were on the same group. They put up a comment. She commented, and they started messaging back and forth. Some of it was public, some of it was not. But it was never. But it was never like I think they were working up to maybe meeting up.
And homeboy didn't like it.
Yeah. And so, but
Oof.
I didn't blame the mutual friend, because it's like he didn't know. But then also,
Oh, so this is a story about you.
oh no, this is me. Yeah, well, no, it wasn't me.
It's a story about someone on the show, though.
It was a story about someone on the show.
Oh, okay.
But he was cool with it. No. The other friend, this is just me, because the person on the show came to me and was kind of mad, and I'm asking, why are you mad? You know, because it's like you had a conversation with this woman before.
There's one.
And you two already had these understanding. You two already knew that that you're just friends and that you're free to date whoever or whatever. And this wasn't even adding up to a date. It was literally just a friendly conversation that could.
So she started messaging one of his other friends.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. No,
Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Gets even better, though. So there's one. Remember, we now know a mutual respect between me. Let's just say me and the other girl. But then I also have a girlfriend at home. That's 2. Don't be tripping about your hoe acting like a hoe when you're out, come on, man.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're being a hoe. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, it's that mutual respect situation.
Does
And-
she know they friends?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she did. She had to.
Yeah,
but-
she knew that she knew. So it was a project that we were all working on. So it was like a group, Facebook group, and so we invited the public to join into our group, and so that's how, because we were posting pictures and comments and material and all that stuff, and so she was just supporting us. But with the way that I look at it now is that I think he had the conversation with her about it, but didn't have a conversation with him about none of it, but was treating him like as if he was the enemy.
Oh, okay.
And so
Yeah,
I'm all
you
like,
can't do that.
you didn't bring him up to speed on the history between you and this other person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's not cool. It's like, you should at least tell him what the history was, and then whatever he decides will be the factor of, is this a friendship that you want to continue or not?
Yeah. It's
But
like,
just to get pissed off and just freeze out this other friend, it's like, that's not cool, because he has absolutely no idea what's going on.
Because from the outside looking in, it seemed like she plotted that almost, maybe.
it does
And
sound
so the
like
fault
that.
would be on her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also, like I said, you got to hear all sides of the story. Like, yeah, no, you shouldn't be flirting with the same group. Like, yeah, homegirl should not be flirting with you and then be
Yeah.
flirting with me, knowing damn well we
No,
work
we-
out with each other and we be going out. Yeah,
So-
you don't do that.
Her explanation was to this guy was like, we're just friends. You already understood this. So do you agree that I'm free to see whoever it is that I want to see?
Well, nah.
You
die. She moving out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so, but the guy agreed, because most likely, and I can't confirm this, but I'll ask them the next time I see them, is that most likely he was probably doing the same thing
To her.
with her friends.
Yeah.
Most likely, but I don't know. I cannot confirm that. But just knowing this person, because
I
I know
say
him
knowing this person, I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
was. Hey,
Yeah.
I know a dog when I see one, bro.
Okay, that's different. That's different.
But I'm all like, and that's the kind of shit that I don't like being involved in. I don't like doing that kind of stuff, and so that's why, I don't know. That in my 20s, sure, I was okay with that. I don't know. I didn't know any better.
Nah, man.
Nowadays, I'm tired. I'm tired.
Nah, man.
You know?
What do I tell you E all the time? I have the nun approach.
Yeah.
If you bring a girl, like I said, you bring Selma Hayek around me, and you introduce her as like your lady and everything. Even after y'all break up,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
all
all I see, bro. It's a nun. It's a nun. She's praying to the Lord.
I don't know what you were talking about. I'll just put a bag on it.
Oh, no. Hey, hold on. That was a different type of scenario. That's a cheerleading scenario.
And yeah, you better than me. If you bring Salma Hayek around, I don't care when y'all break up.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm not gonna act on it, but I'm looking.
Yeah.
That's what we mean by it. If
Yeah.
you don't act, that's cool, bro. That's cool. I mean, if you bring a baddie like Salma, I'm be like, bro, praise the Lord. I did take a peek real quick.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I ain't just gonna act like that ain't standing there in front of me.
Nah.
True.
They're like, hey, so what's going on?
Selma. Yeah, Selma. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a hard. That's top notch right there.
Yeah.
You bring Selma around me, I know you making it into the big leagues. Damn, he's training celebrities now.
Hey,
Damn.
yo, let's go.
Man, my prices are about to go up now too. Shit.
Maybe Luca should get it.
Right.
I need. Hey, E, you have a discounted rate now? Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I look out.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into what's our minds, because I know we got a lot to do today
Yes, sir.
before the end of the show and stuff. So typically we have a little segment called What's on Our Minds, and so basically we talk about what's been on our minds. Not what we've been talking about just before,
Okay,
which
yeah.
would have been perfect
Yeah.
for what's on our minds, but I don't know. Let's
Well,
just start.
we could do with the ending then. We could do with the ending on what's on my mind about what happened.
Well, you tell me what's
on my mind?
Yeah.
Well, recently, right now, it's more of just making sure I do get my protein intake with my workout, because that's actually the hardest part. It's the eating. It's the eating right, and then making sure you're eating enough. That's the hard part for me. It really is. The gym part is easy because I find that as a zen for me. I go in there, it's relaxing. I reset my mind, enjoy my music, I also do a little bit more of like a research study on just my stupidity impulse, aka like why I do something dumb. Why do I keep drinking? But I haven't drank in a whole month almost now.
That's
Shit.
good, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's gonna
I'll
hit you
talk-
hard though. You're not gonna be a heavyweight anymore. You're gonna be a lightweight.
Don't wish that upon me.
Hey, listen, you can have more fun at cheaper prices. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but I got bottles at home, which is like calling my name. It's like listening to the mermaids in the sea. Every time I go near my liquor cabinet that I have, I just hear them singing in my ear.
This is how they're literally, psst, Albert, Albert.
Bring your happy ass here, boy. No, besides that, I would say this right now is really on my mind is actually kind of more of balancing the checkbook. I have a trip coming up, so it's more of like, all right, I am doing a little bit more penny pinching because I have now officially decided when I go to San Diego, I'm going to go do a resort. I'm going to a resort. It's just me, myself, and I. I am going straight to a resort. I'm gonna enjoy myself.
You should.
I'm literally just bringing like maybe one pair of nice slacks, a pair of athletic wear so I can work out because there'll be one day I could be able to work out.
Yeah.
But then I'm also gonna go see a baseball game, so I gotta dress up accordingly for that. But after that, swim trunks.
How long you gonna be out there?
Man, I'm gonna be out there for about a weekend, from like Thursday, and I'll be back on a Monday. So yeah, I'm gonna be out there in swim trunks and all. I'm coming out. If I'm not sunburnt, I'm tan. Either one of those. There's no in between. I'm coming either darker brown, or I'm coming out dark red. Either way, I'm coming out. I'm gonna enjoy myself when I'm in San Diego, dude. I'm excited for it.
That's awesome.
I've already written down certain places I'm trying to hit up. I am going to try In-N-Out out there because I've never had In-N-Out in Cali.
Yeah.
And everyone always tells me it's a different type of taste. So I'm going to try that out.
It is a different type of taste. You know, I lived out there for a bit. So In-N-Out is just better in California for whatever reason.
I wonder what they're doing to it here. I had it once.
The fries are still bland as fuck.
Anyway.
I'm just going to say that is what I'm going to do. And then I'm looking at restaurants that are only in San Diego. I'm not going anywhere that has one in Dallas. Nope. If it's in San Diego only, I'm going.
Get the culture, man.
Yeah, and I'm going to also go do some golfing out there.
Hey.
I deserve that. I have not swung a club in about 3 months. I need to swing. I've been itching for it.
You good at golf?
Oh, yeah. I do enough to actually get I got sponsored by a small little golf brand that they send me like hats and shirts.
Yeah.
And I tell them, keep sending me bigger hats. Keep sending me the snapbacks. And I'm like, bro, I'm on the last bead, bro. bead. I got a big forehead, bro. Like, stop. I hate that. That's one thing I
Let's
hate.
let your mom tell us about your big forehead.
Oh, man. Bro, my mom be roasting me, too, bro. I hate that. My mom be throwing, like, the meanest roast.
Yeah.
But, talking about just that, so really, I'm just excited for the San Diego trip. I am going to be bringing this little thing with me. Don't worry, guys. Still gonna review recording some stuff for the cast and all that. You know, we gonna have some nice things out here.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to go do some fishing while I'm out there too.
Man, you got a lot that you're going to do.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be fishing, brother. I'm gonna be
Okay.
fishing every day. You know, in the water, out of the water. I'm gonna be fishing.
Yeah, I get it. I know. Yeah. All right, you know what, E? What's been on your mind?
What has been on my mind?
What's been in those back of your head and those thoughts and all?
Oh God, please. These
I've been balancing my checkbook too.
Oh, nice.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm getting back into watch collecting.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
a timepiece gentleman.
As I look at your fancy watch that you got there, what kind of watch is that?
It's something a little light. Rolex Datejust.
No.
Champagne gold dial.
Well, let me show you my watch over here, which is, I don't know, something I bought on Amazon that keeps track of my steps. And
Hey, see, that works for you,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
considering that I would lose it, I would lose a nice watch.
Yeah.
But
got a little Seiko 5 with the Arabic dial. You
Right
know?
on.
You know, old, little old school, like the '80s look.
But like collecting watches, I know it can be a hobby, but it's more than just that. Because I have a friend that actually collects them as well. Like he has some old Rolexes and stuff that he acquired over the years, and so it's part of the ensemble.
Oh yeah,
you know.
It's like any other luxury piece. It's a story behind it. I remember I may have been 9 or 10 maybe, and one of my dad's closest friends, well, they're actually cousins. He came back from, well, I had to be 12, 11 or 12 then, because he came back from Iraq. And he brought my dad a Rolex. It was, I white gold, date just, had the diamond dial on it. I didn't know what watches were then.
Yeah.
But I remember it was flashy. My dad used to leave it on his nightstand. I stole it, wore it to school one day. And gladly I came back with it because later on I found out what it actually was.
Yeah.
So a few years after that, I moved out, and someone broke into my parents' home, stole the watch, stole a bunch of his old antique pieces and things like that. So I always said, once I started to do well for myself, I'd get back into it. So this was my first one. I got this one in 21. In 22, I got the Starbucks Submariner.
Yeah, I saw that.
What'd I get after that?
Well,
I just recently for Christmas got a 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetual with the Rolex green dial.
I'm gonna nod my head like I know what you're talking about, but I mean those sound nice.
So
stuff.
they're conversation pieces.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Okay.
That's why I don't never have no money. So that's what's happening. That's what's on my mind right now. I have one other piece that I'm looking at right now that I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it.
What's the?
But
dream
you're gonna
piece?
do it, you know.
Well, the dream piece is probably
I can see you wearing a Royal Oak AP. I can see you wearing one of those. I ain't gonna lie.
So me and my cousin, he does tech down in Houston.
Okay.
We're giving ourselves 2 years to be able to go get a Royal Oak.
Oh.
So we're the end of, I think we said end of 26. That's what we're trying to do. My dream piece is probably all champagne gold Rolex day date.
Okay.
Oh, the presidential.
Yeah, so that's the one. That's the one.
the presidential right there.
I gotta. It's a lot of stuff that gotta happen before I can spend $50,000 on a watch.
So how do you keep them? Like me, this gets shoved in a drawer. You know,
I have a handmade oak watch box. That's the one I keep the expensive pieces in.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend a couple years ago for Christmas, she got me a watch box that's all leather with the glass ceiling on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I keep all the rest of them in there.
That's the one I have, but I don't got no big names like that.
No, I don't either.
Because I told you I fell in love with watches because of G-Shock.
Yeah.
G-Shock was.
You're talking about you come in here with your Casio watches. And
That's a G-Shock. Love them, man.
I got a Casio too.
Oh, who doesn't, man? Who doesn't love the Casio?
I got a Casio.
I have a Casio Oak. That's what I got.
Them ain't bad.
Remember? You
I
seen
got
it?
I started doing that too. So what they do now, out of market watch makers, they'll order the aftermarket parts and they'll put a Seiko movement in it, so it'll look just like the expensive watch.
yeah.
You just won't have the name or the movement on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you seen the Casio. It's that white one with the very baby blue dial that has
think I've seen
I showed it up a couple times.
Do men notice other men's watches? I mean,
Yes.
do they?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I've always seen E's collection when I go right before I go to the gym. I see it.
The other thing, I'm not. I don't know if I notice watches like enough to pay attention to it unless
Yeah.
someone points. I'm more of a shoe person, so I can notice that someone's shoes
Yeah.
or something. But I am appreciative of watches and stuff, especially like the story behind them. Because like I said, my friend kind of got me into. I don't know the specifics, but I prefer the history behind the actual watch.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure you've got yourself a watch for a time significant in your life,
Yeah,
right?
it was this one.
Yeah,
it was this one. It took me 3 years to get this watch.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I think that was 2017 when I legitimized my business.
Yeah.
I knew that's what I wanted to do. So in 2021, when it actually happened, celebrated that. The Submariner, I actually got that one gambling with a super rich dude. We betted on the Lakers game one night. Yeah, so that was during the time I was doing sales. I had a couple dollars to throw around. But he was excited, man. He didn't care. He had just sold his business somewhere across the seas for like $70 million. He was waiting for the check.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so
There you go.
it was
Okay.
one of those.
I
I
need to
caught
start
him. He was
gambling.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Man,
I haven't done that since. I ain't.
I'm gonna start telling you, hey man, with your rich friends, I'm gonna start gambling with them.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't done that again.
You
Man.
can't afford that.
hey, shoot, bet all my last dollars on it. Hope to God.
Only thing you could sell is yourself. You have to go sell yourself into slavery on that shit.
All right.
Well, my OnlyFans is gonna be a little bit different now, boys.
Just to let you know, we're not subscribing to it. We
no.
will support you.
That's all I want.
You know,
I want you to support me, but just don't watch my videos.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think we want to see that, man.
Yeah, please don't.
Not the water buffalo.
Well, wait. He's watching. He's more like, man, I saw the video, man. Your love handle looks like it really needs work on this side.
That definitely wouldn't be
Yeah,
me.
no.
See, you caught that cramp in that video because you didn't do that right squat formation.
I wouldn't have any idea what your love handles look like.
Oh, sadly, we know what they look like.
Yeah,
Anyway.
unfortunately. Yeah.
All right, Dan, what's been on your mind?
Well, now I'm thinking about watches and playing tic-tac-toe on Albert's forehead. But
Damn.
So back to what my weekend was like. I was hanging out with a lot of professional comedians, and I've actually started noticing trends of that we have an issue, I think, in the Metroplex area when it comes to stand-up comedy. I don't think there's a good market for it at the moment. I don't think people are doing good marketing campaigns unless it's like a big name like Gabriel Iglesias or whoever. But if they're not huge names, people aren't going there, and I think it's a marketing problem. So I'm thinking that I might take a look into that and see. I'm probably not going to do anything about it, but I'm going to look at it and see if there's any way that I could help my comedian friends get the Dallas-Fort Worth stand-up comedy scene.
Why did no one show up?
No, people showed up. It was just a lot smaller than it should have been.
So nobody showed up.
No, I mean there was 30, 40 people, but we're talking about people who are they're hanging out with Kenan Thompson from SNL.
Oh,
there
okay.
should be no reason. And about a week ago they sold out a 500 seat venue.
Was Keenan also throwing his own hat into the ring to help maybe sponsor his own friends?
No,
Wait, Keenan was there?
no, not on this one.
Oh, okay,
No,
good. Because
no.
I'm like, I thought he was working last night.
No, yeah, he was working last night.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live?
No, but these people they're hanging out with big comedy people, and they're funny. They're real fucking funny.
Yeah.
But I think we just have a real bad issue with the stand-up comedy scene here in the Metroplex.
Maybe you could be
needs
that
to
advertisement
addressed.
for him, man.
Maybe.
Are
but-
these local comedians?
No, these people flew in from L.A. They're
Well, I think you're coming into an area that is
Hates everyone from California.
From my experience, Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas always wanted to be in the film industry, always wanted to be into entertainment industry. And it was real cool and nice talk back in the day, but it's none of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
the Austins, the Houstons, those are the places you really go for your comedy sets
Yeah.
these days. But I'd like to see more comedy up here. I didn't even know Hyenas had a Fort Worth location until this week.
Wait, you didn't know that Hyenas had a Fort Worth location?
No, I thought it was just Dallas.
No, they're pretty. There's a lot, and then I think they have another improv area there too as well.
I don't know.
But also-
4-Day Weekend is over in Fort Worth. I knew that one. That's
Yeah.
a big one. But apparently there was even another comedy club. Never even heard of it.
But you also know the behind-the-scenes stuff on some of that is that they'll give top priority to certain comedians.
Yeah.
And then, those that work their ass off will get nothing. They'll get list way down at the bottom, if anything, and then and unfortunately that just goes along with the business, or that or you're not schmoozing the person who decides, hey, you're next. Or
Well, the thing that I saw, right, was the fact that a lot of these comedy clubs, they have just piss poor marketing at all, right? You would think that a place of comedy, an entertainment place, would say, hey, these are all the venues that are all the people. They didn't even advertise anything for a Thursday show that we just went to go check out the venue to see what was going on. There was no advertisement for any Thursday show. And so, when you have multiple sets, multiple acts coming through, you think they would have them at least on their websites or stuff like that. But there was
But again,
terrible marketing, terrible business practices, I'd say, from the Metroplex's.
do people go out on Wednesdays, Thursdays?
Yeah, I didn't think they would, but yes, they were.
They were?
Yeah, there were people there.
Not me. I'm trying to save my money. I'm inside.
Well, I mean, because again, Dallas Fort Worth isn't really an entertainment place. I mean, as far as like for the big stuff, for sports, most definitely.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming out. You know, for the big names, absolutely, they're coming out because, who's not going to go see these big, huge national people that they buy tickets? They spend a lot of money to go to American Airlines or wherever these large venues are.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily smaller venues, not even the House of Blues.
Yeah.
Not in the middle of the week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They used to.
They used to. But that's when the House of Blues was like this cool place where it's like, oh, wow, have you been? It's pretty awesome. But now it's just kind of,
When you have your prom at the House of Blues, that's when you sold out.
Well, they got to make money. They got to keep, and because there are House of Blues other places in the country.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
But for this one, in order to keep the doors open, they got to be creative on how they make their money.
I just remember having my prom there. That's why I remember having my prom at the House of Blues, and I was like, yeah, this place ain't what it used to be when I used to hear it on the radio.
You're like, oh, it still smells like pot. Anyway,
When did things start to change for the House of Blues here in Dallas?
As far as I know, when it was new, I think I was like in my first year of college, and it was pretty popular. It was nice. I mean, that was a place to be. And I think at that point, it was also the Angelica Theater on Mockingbird was very popular too.
Mockingbird was popping back
but
in the day.
But then all of a sudden, it just kind of fades, unfortunately, because that business just never took off here in Texas. And people argue, oh, it's the lack of tax incentives and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, Texas is pretty liberal when it comes to things like that. I mean, it's a right to work state. You don't have to use unions if you choose not to. It's so I don't know what it is other than just the people are like, I'm just not going to go.
Yeah.
You know?
And plus, I mean, it's March Madness. It was March Madness, dude.
That too. Yeah.
It's a hard, and in Dallas, the DFW area is really big on sports. I mean, you created a whole bar dedicated to sports, Texas Live. That is hard to beat.
Well, there's one I think in Frisco now or Plano. It's got like the I don't know. It's
like a giant sphere,
yeah,
right?
it's a giant sphere that
it's on
lets
Frisco.
you.
Yeah.
Is it Frisco? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to go there at some point.
So,
I mean,
so there you go.
Also can
There you
tend to
go.
That, but
yeah, so and then like I said, it's all about also talking about your friends and all. You got to also have them. They got to be pushing themselves. They got to push themselves, and then at the same time, they have big name. If they know people who are big names and all that, and they really are friends, it's like, hey man, throw me a bone, help me. Just throw a small advertisement, boom, done.
Well, like what I'm saying is, like they are significant size themselves. They sell out 500 seat venues, but
just not in Dallas.
Didn't nobody know about it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and just wrap up what's on our minds because we're really on a time crunch here. So yay! Sorry about the bad news, Dan. Sorry about that, dude.
all
I mean,
Damn, car accidents and friendships bombing the stage. Poor fellas.
poor guy.
yeah.
Sorry about that. But
That's all right.
They're gonna force me on stage and do a 5-minute set at some point. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god, I'm gonna kill myself.
They made you get on?
No, not yet.
Oh.
But, it's just a
what
matter
would
of
you
time.
do if they told you to get on?
I actually have a little bit of something worked up, so I'm
well, we're not going to hear none of it today
Oh,
because
God, no.
we don't have time.
Especially since we'd be canceled on YouTube, so it's not going to happen.
This would be the part that would be like House of Machismo After Dark.
Yeah.
And all that. But I really want to get to the real reason why you're here because I know we got a ton of questions to ask. And I'll go ahead and kick it off. Is that personal trainer, obviously you know what you're doing because, and everything. To see your videos, you look back and you look at them and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
The fact that you can actually do pull-ups, and I'm all like, man, that's nice, All right, so I guess to start off is what's one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they start a fitness journey or something? What's something that they do that you see like, oh man, this is probably going to end in failure? Or possibly. Not that you wish that.
Not so much what they do. When you listen to people talk, you realize that a lot of the information that they think that applies to them, it's not very accurate. You'll find people a lot of times saying that the one thing that I hate to hear is when people say, I want to look like this in 3 months. And that's usually because what's been marketed to them. They get on Instagram, you see all these people with the good cameras, the flashing lights, and they tell you, hey, this is what I do, and they show you all the crazy workouts. it very rarely ever goes like that. Usually those people, when they're doing all those crazy workouts, that's not what they did to get the physique that they have now. And they don't tell you the full story.
I know, in fact, it was this past Friday. One of my friends was Mr. Traps, the guy with the big traps and stuff like that. He was boasting about, because we were looking at fish, and he's like, "Did you know that? Oh my God, what's his name? I always forget names right on pressure.
Yeah.
Mr. Wolverine.
Yeah. Okay, we'll call him Wolverine.
Wolverine, dude.
Oh,
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, my God.
I was
I
drinking
always
water, I
forget the
couldn't say
celebrity's name.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Hugh Jackman, he's like, yeah, look at this. Did you know that he eats one of these just in one meal? And, you know, and to telling him is like, well, he doesn't, every day, every meal or whatever. It's like, well, he doesn't eat that every meal. It's like, yeah, he does. It's like, well, he only eats like that whenever he needs to be on camera and be Wolverine. He doesn't eat like that. Like, that's not what his full diet is. Like, when he's not trying to look like Wolverine. I said, there's like a whole other life that he lives. And he's like, no, he eats that every day. And it's like, when he's going to shoot something, when he's going to film, when he's going to, same thing with Henry Cavill. They do these special crash diets and exercises and stuff that works for the camera and works for them for the camera. Yeah. But it's so not good in the sense that they're not keeping that up, their entire life. They're going to have, I've seen what Hugh Jackman looks like when he's not, he looks like a regular person. In fact, I think he's almost my height. Anyway, anyway.
So that's the biggest thing I see. People start comparing themselves to other people.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can do, especially if you're trying to start your fitness journey.
And so, like, how would you recommend for people to stay motivated when the results aren't coming in? And it's not, I think people look at it as, I'm not seeing results fast enough. But how do you keep them motivated and let them know, it's like, hey, it's not a speed game?
I don't necessarily believe in keeping people motivated. Usually once we have our initial talk, you start telling me what you want and your reasons for doing it. And I ask those questions like, what is the real reason behind this?
Yeah.
Usually it's something with the family. You either want to better your way of living. You want to be there for your kids. You want to turn this into some type of profession for you. There's nothing I can say that should be more motivating than being there for your family.
But I think, like for me, and I guess there's just some harsh realities. There's some really harsh realities. For me, it was like, I was just tired of being fat. Yeah. That's just what it came down to.
That's sometimes that's what it is, too. Now, what I allow people to do, I take that initial talk, and once we start seeing that you're slacking off or you feel like you're not trying to do it anymore, I remind you of it. But the motivation is all yours. I'm here for accountability. That's what I think all trainers are. If I got to get in there and motivate you to do what you know that you already need to do, we're probably on the wrong end of this already.
You're not a babysitter, basically. Yeah.
No, he ain't. God damn.
I don't do that. Like I say, I'll ask you in the beginning, hey, why you want to do this? Are you sure this is what you want to do? This is what it's going to take for you to get it. And throughout the workouts or whatever time period that we're working together, I'll constantly remind you of it, but I'll let you know that I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to make sure you're doing what you say you're going to do.
So what are some questions, I guess, if somebody comes up to you and just says, hey, I need help, I want to be one of your clients. Like, how would we get started? How would one get started? I never had a personal trainer before. Sorry, Albert. Anyway, like if I were to come to you and just say, hey, I need a personal trainer.
My first question would be, what's your goal? What are you working towards?
Okay. And so my answer would be, because I have been asked that, and I said, I don't know, unfortunately. And I guess my thing is the same answer that I gave before. I don't want to be fat. I'm tired of being fat.
Okay.
You
know? Usually that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
People say they want to be fat, they want to lose weight.
Yeah.
So to that I ask, is it a certain way you want to look, or is it a certain number that you want to see on the scale?
I suppose it would be more the numbers. The look, I would think that would, That's a good question because I see what you're saying. It's like, so am I looking to actually have like to have more muscle or less muscle or just be skinny or something like that? I think for me it would be more the numbers on the scale. I'm more logical in the sense of let me see the numbers go down on this scale.
So then I would ask, why is that your goal?
And then I refer back to the first answer because I'm tired of being fat. But also it would be for health purposes as well. Because the conversation with my doctor, because I think we were talking before the show, and she was using the words like morbidly obese. And I'm all like, wait. I thought those were the people that couldn't get out of bed and, couldn't, that exercise by sitting there and doing this, And apparently that wasn't it.
Yeah.
And so, if you think what the word morbidly means or what that comes from, and obese, we all know what that is. And so we're all like, when you put those two words together, you're like, okay, fuck, I need to do something about this. And so the idea is, because she was telling me, is like your numbers are bad, but they're not horrible. They're not, you can actually do something about it now without being on any kind of medication. And so that's when I'm like, okay, well, this gym that I pass by every day that I would tell people, I was like, oh no, I would never set foot inside one. I had to find myself to set foot inside of it, and then walking in to sign in, I'm all like, hey, do you have a form? And then 1 week later, as a matter of fact, I remember the first day that I actually came into the gym to work out. I had signed up, and the next day I was ready to go, as far as like, having my name on the list and all that to be able to work out in there. And I didn't go. It was a whole week before I even decided to go. And that morning when I got up to go to work, I always get there super early. So the time that I get there, I always get there anyway. It doesn't matter if I go to the gym or not. So I'm dressed and ready to go to work. And then I thought to myself, you know what, Marty? Just go. Like, I'm dressed ready for work, and I grab my gym bag, and I go, and I just go into the gym, and that's how I first started. And I remember it was just the treadmill for the first few months. The entire time was just the treadmill. I became treadmill buddies with everybody next to me, and so from there, it would have been better to have some form of guidance. I always thought of that. But mentally, I wasn't ready there. And I noticed that a lot of this is more mental. In fact, I would think 90% of it is, because it's like, it's just hard. As a person, it's hard for me to ask for any kind of help. Meaning that I'll figure it out, or I'm just very resourceful or something like that. Throwing something into something like this where I have absolutely no experience whatsoever was difficult. And so it's hard to navigate. And you can try to look at like the different, videos or whatever on YouTube, because there's like a million of them out there and all that, but without the actual specifics, as far as like what's best for you, and so that was kind of hard to, and it was just very, each step was just kind of hard to reach in there. So again, just getting into the gym was the toughest part. Staying in there wasn't as hard, because once I know I'm doing all the talking and I like hearing my voice. Anyway, but I think now I'm under the mentality where if I don't go to the gym in the morning, then the day does not feel right. It doesn't work. For some reason I need to go in there and do something. And no matter how painful it is or whatever, but then also I'm all like, and I need to get ready in there as well, because that's what the routine is. And anything that deviates from that throws my day off, but anyways.
So back to your original question. Usually when those questions are asked, it usually comes back to, you don't want to be fat. So my very next question to that is, if I could make you look like whatever you think. So say somebody came in and say, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds. I'm tired of being fat. I want to lose 30 pounds.
Right.
Usually people have a vision in their head of what that 30 pounds list looks like. So my very next question is, if I could have you look like this, whatever that picture in your head is, but the numbers on the scale barely moved, would you be okay?
I would be okay with that. So as long as I can see something going on, like something, because again, I'm more of a logic kind of a person where if the numbers aren't moving, but the waistline is shrinking, then that's something that is something that I can measure in a way. But again, for somebody that isn't as calculative and logical as me, it might work for someone else. For me, it has to be that way because, again, it's a mental thing. There are times where it's like I still see myself as fat, and I see the numbers, my blood pressure, whatever, the scale and all that stuff, my waistline and all that is telling me something completely different.
Yeah.
But somebody that is not as I can see how it can get someone else in trouble when they're not, when they see themselves as being fat. They're a size 30, but they still see themselves being fat, and I can see how that can get them into trouble. Yeah. For me, I need to be able to see some form of result, something where it's not necessarily scale, but something else to where it's a little bit more like, look at this, Marty. Yeah.
And that's the reason I asked those questions, because just now, 5 minutes ago, you said it had to be the scale. And just now you're realizing that it doesn't have to be the scale.
Correct.
That's the reason it's like that. Another reason we ask those questions, well, I know I do. I ask those questions because now I'm setting realistic expectations for you. If you're severely overweight, the first 6 months to a year, no matter how hard you work, the scale might not move that much.
Right.
You'll get more mobile. Blood pressure will drop. Your quality of life will change. But if you're strictly saying, I want to come here, I want to lose 60 pounds, it's not realistic to think that's going to happen very quickly. So we're setting realistic expectations, and that's just the way the body functions. I specialize in strength training. I try to preach it to everyone, some form of strength training. Doesn't necessarily have to be weights, especially when you're just starting. But what happens is that strength training forces your body to shape into what you're trying to shape it into. So,
continue.
So yeah, body fat is going to drop first. That's why that's so important. Muscle is more dense than body fat. So you may put on a pound, 2 pounds of muscle the first 6 months, but your body fat percentage will drop 5 percentage points. And it may not look like, once you step on the scale, may not look like a lot has happened, but you can look in the mirror and you'll be able to see your body composition start to change. That's all we're trying to do.
And so for me, it was, because I think for the first 6 months, it was nothing but treadmill. It was nothing but treadmill. I wasn't doing any kind of weights or anything like that. And so, and again, what do? We go back to this mental thing. I've always wanted to run, and to be able to just run without getting tired. And so that's just what kept on playing in my head, was to just keep on running. I always think as a zombie apocalypse, guys. And so it's like
we call those hot buttons.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Very, very early on in our workouts, if we talk, I'll be able to tell you that running is really what you were trying to get to.
Yeah. And so for me, I mean, and it was what I knew how to do. And I knew that I can improve on that. And I knew that it was hard for me to mess it up. Before I joined the gym, I actually used to jog. And you should have seen my calves back then, Albert. So I developed something that I didn't realize what it was until I'm all like, what the fuck is this? It was plantar fasciitis. And so for like almost a year, I had plantar fasciitis. And so then that's when people were telling me, it's like, well, you can go to a doctor and it's not going to cure it all. There'll be like some different therapies and stuff like that, but it's manageable and it usually goes away. And there's some stretches, there's some stuff that you can do to negate it. And sure enough, I mean, I don't have it anymore. Those stretches and exercises really helped a lot. But I also learned that there are specific ways to stretch, and so, but then, especially during the pandemic is when I was really hitting it hard with the jogging. But then as soon as I got over that plantar fasciitis, I just never went back. And was I seeing results? I wasn't seeing, just like we were talking about, I wasn't seeing the results completely with the scale, but I was seeing the results in the gains with the muscles and all that because my calves were like anyway, and but coming back into something where I'm in this gym, and again, I people watch, so I do look at other people to see their progress and see how they're doing it. I'm not comparing myself to them, but I do. Like, there's this girl who jogs next to me who is on the treadmill the majority of the time, and she has tried other little stuff like that. And then we'll talk every once in a while, but I just say, maybe increase your incline, maybe by 1 or something like that. If she wants to, get up there, because she had tried jogging before, but she wasn't ready for it. Yeah. And so, but everybody has their different routines, when they go in there, and they do what works for them. Yeah. I was doing what I thought would work for me. But I haven't figured that out. And so for the longest time, I thought about, oh, look, let me get a trainer. Let me sign up for one of the training stuff like that. But then Albert came along. Yeah. And then, the cost is to listening to his stories of pain, as it's like, okay, so what are we doing today? Now, I'll tell you what, sometimes some of the exercises seem like as if he's just making it up on the spot. Like, you want me to do what? And I'm all like, are you just trying to find busy work for me or something like that? But then sure enough, halfway into it, I'm all like, okay, now I'm feeling it. Yeah. All right.
He taught me those. That's what I mean. All the things he taught me, those are from him.
Yeah. I'm all like, you want me to pretend like I'm driving a car?
Yeah.
Like the weight something. Yeah, exactly. Did you teach him about the book thing? He's like, the weight and holding it like a book. I'm like, Albert, nobody holds a book like that. What the fuck? It's like, learn to read.
The preacher curls.
Oh, the preacher curls, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, he's all like, Marty, when you hold a book, hold it like you're holding a book. And I'm all like, I don't.
Okay, no, he ain't get that from me.
Okay.
Dumbbell. Because I was going to have him do the preacher curl, but then someone was already on it.
Okay.
So I just said, you know what, just grab a dumbbell, put the dumbbell right here, and just said, all you got to do, just curl it.
No. Okay. You said, hold it like I'm holding a book.
Yeah, hold it like a book.
And I'm all like, that's not how you hold a book, Albert.
Okay,
Pick up a, go to a library.
But it worked.
Yeah. And so, but also learn that some of the things that he does can't translate too well. Sometimes can't translate to me because form is usually an issue, and so don't want to do that incorrectly. Yeah. But other times, I don't know, like I'll hit my limit on something. Like I don't know, like my legs aren't long enough, or my arms aren't long enough, or something like that. So when I'm trying to bring the weights down. It's not because I can't, but because my legs just aren't like the leg press or something. My leg, unless I really get down to lower the level, which I can't handle at the moment. But my legs just aren't long enough to really bring it. Yeah,
I make them do it.
But anyway, and so that's the kind of stuff where it's painful but enjoyable, and to be honest, I never thought that I would be in a situation like that. But enough about me, Dan. Tell me about your...
Well, earlier, so we can stop listening to Marty talk.
Yeah, I know. God, this is the Marty show, damn it.
I don't know why. Earlier you had said that people get demotivated after about like 3 months of not seeing any progress. Yeah. What is a more realistic time frame in order to see some kind of progress? Are we talking 4 or 5, 6 months, or would?
Usually it's and I can't remember how the saying goes. I think it's 6 weeks. Everybody else see it. 12 weeks you see it. But it really, the reason I don't like giving time periods, because there's so many variables to it. Age. I really like when I have people bring me their blood work. So we can see that. Usually we can make a diet based on what your blood work is.
Okay.
Let you know what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating, what will work more efficiently for you based on data and experiments from the past. But I don't like giving that because if I go in there and work out right now and I have a goal and Al goes in and works out right now and has a goal, we can go in there and we can do the same workouts for the same reps from the same sets for the same amount of time, and you have 2 totally different outcomes. So what I like to preach to people, usually when they say, I want to do this in 3 weeks, they have the wrong mindset. Fitness shouldn't be an end goal.
Yeah.
It's going to be complete
lifetime.
change. Yeah, it's like you got to fall in love with the journey, is what they say. The cliche way of saying, got to fall in love with the journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination. So, usually I tell people, man, if you're sitting there, the only reason you should be saying I need to have this done by this amount of time is if you're in a competition-based workout, something like that. And from that point, I can let you know if that's something you should be doing, because then it gets very extreme. Because now we're counting calories. We got to know what you're doing all day. You got to eat at a certain time. You got to eat a certain amount of times. You got to try to eat at the same time every day so that you put your body on a cycle. We got to be planning out how we're going to address the progressive overload over a long period of time. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Unless you're going into competitive bodybuilding, powerlifting, or even if you're doing like competitive athletics, things like that. Unless it's something like that, you shouldn't be in there trying to give yourself a time period to do it.
Okay. And you had mentioned something just I thought was fairly fascinating. You said even like the blood work in itself could be. Yeah. Have you seen like different blood types affect, progress or, know, what works for other things?
Yes. If your hormone levels aren't right, you can go in there, you'll make very minimal progress. You'll see, goes back to another thing that I was saying with the social media influencers. When you go in there, you're trying to compare yourself to what you see people do on the internet. A lot of these guys, and I won't call their names, but a lot of these guys, they'll go out there and they'll tell you, hey, I look like this all year round. This is how you do it. What they won't tell you is the amount of chemicals that they put in their body.
Oh, like TRT and all
TRT
that.
is one of the
that's
ones.
a big one.
So what happened with TRT, and it's starting to come around now. The big thing when social media of working out became popular was everybody saying, I'm all natural. I do this, you can do this, I'm all natural. And it gives you the impression that, all I got to do is eat my food and go to sleep and drink my water and work out, and I can do this too. It doesn't work like that. Usually around 40 is when men's testosterone starts to decline.
Yeah.
That is the most important muscle-building hormone in the body. So you see these guys that tell you, hey, I'm 40. I didn't start until I was 35. I'm 46 now, and I still look. Yeah, they're pumped up with TRT. So you have to get your blood work right. What TRT does, it gets your chemical levels right so that you can build muscle more efficiently. You can maintain it more efficiently. Blood work, having your blood work is probably going to be right up there with your diet as far as importance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll say this with you, because I have been working out with you for almost a year and a half, maybe 2, I want to say.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. Like that. So I went in there, and I was already working. I had my own little plan. But at the same time, I hit a really big plateau. It was just I was not really hitting anything. And I went to eat, and I was like, you know what? I want to improve on my chest press. I want to just get stronger. And we had that conversation of like, all right, what's your real end goal and all that? And the end goal was just more of like, you know what? Let's do a time plan. Let's do a time frame of how strong we can get. Now, if we go further, that's even better. If we don't, then we know we need to improve on this. And that's what we did. We did that type of time frame. Not one where it's like, all right, this is it and that's all. But with that, I then learned that he's not going to motivate you in the way of telling you like, oh, come on, Albert, you can do it, all that. No. What it is that he's going to make you accountable for what you don't do. And that's what I actually had a wake-up call, because I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sleeping well because I was more about just working all the time. And at one moment, he was like, Albert, man, you're getting weaker, dude. He told me straight up, you're getting weaker. You ain't lifting heavier. What's going on? I'm like, man, I'm like getting 5 hours of sleep. He's like, there you go. You're messing up right there. Can't be doing that. Then when I finally said, okay, I need to stop looking at social media, because I had that problem too. He told me, he's like, hey, you want to bulk up? You want to get stronger? Get ready to get fat.
Yep.
You're going to get bigger. And I dedicated myself to the bulk, to a meal plan. And I got...
You did a great job with that, by the way.
Yeah. I got much stronger, though. Got much stronger on my lifting. And talking about, hormones and TRT and all that, that's another thing I did notice while being inside the gym with him and another of my friends, is that everybody's different, dude. Yeah. Like, I have a homie that's real big, broad as hell. leg strength, it's there, but he's not built on the heavier side like I am. While my legs are humongous, no matter how much weight I lose. Like right now, I've been losing actually a lot of great body fat, thank God. But my numbers are not changing scale wise. But I notice it around like my back fat. A lot of that's been going away.
Yeah.
While my friend, on the other hand, he's like, bro, Albert, you ain't losing no leg fat. And I'm like, thank God. I don't mind not losing that, bro. Like, I don't mind. And I was going to bring that to you, E, is more of, I know I was one of your hard-headed clients.
Yeah.
Who else, like, have you ever had such a client that was, like, so bad, like, just like listening to you, or even just maybe just absorbing what you were preaching to him, that you kind of, like, you had to cut it off? Like, you know what, man, hey, I can't train you. Like, have you ever had that?
Yeah, it's happened a few times. Early on, once I was finding my footing on how I was going to approach doing my training, you'd have people come in and they want you to fix 20 years of bad eating habits in 6 weeks.
Oh my God!
And it's like, man, it just can't happen. So I understand you paying me for a service. What you have to understand is it takes time to get there. So what I do, and what I'm very proud of, is that anytime I'm working out, all through the workout, sometimes our workouts go longer because I'm explaining everything we're doing it. I'm explaining why we're doing this workout. I'm explaining why the order of the workouts are going like this. This is how this benefits you. This is why we got to do it this way so it helps you do this next time. Like I was just telling you about the ab work.
Yep.
The core is going to be the most beneficial thing to everything around your workout. It's going to make everything else around it easier for you. Trying to preach that to people and getting the diet right. And I try to explain it in a way to where anybody can understand it. So if you ever get to the point to where it's like you don't want to work with me anymore, hey, you know what you have to do. Like I don't use super big words, and even when we start breaking down the chemicals and the muscle fibers and the muscle groups, I explain it in a way to where you can feel it on yourself, so you can touch it, so you know exactly what you're doing, so you don't feel like you're trapped working out with me after it's over with. I want you to feel like you understand it as well as I do.
Oh yeah.
So,
Do people graduate from a trainer?
yeah,
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes that's my goal. Sometimes the first 12 weeks, I sell them in 12-week programs. So sometimes the first 12 weeks is all somebody needs to build on from that.
Okay. But you also train women as well, not just men. Okay. So is there one over the other that listen better, or that, I guess, from my perspective, because whenever I go in the morning, there's a few guys in there, and they all just kind of go off and just do our own thing, and they seem to know what they're doing, and I seem to know what I'm doing, but when I look at the women, especially because a lot of them do come in and they are trained, they have a trainer in the morning, and so to them, they really seem intent on listening to the trainer, talking to them and telling them and showing them like how this is done. I've yet to see one guy train, other than Albert, actually train, with a trainer. And so I just don't know if this is just a guy thing, or is it just, I don't. But I mean, like, who tends to listen a little bit more as far as like, hey, you need to do it this way.
So for me, I have a lady that started out very hard-headed. But we sat down and we had a talk. Because I get irritated in workouts too. That happens. I'll sit there and, you tell me what your goal is, and I'll tell you what you need to do, and you just won't do it. And after a while, I'll just be like, hey, man, look, don't waste my time. Don't waste your time.
Right.
You told me this is what you wanted. I told you this is what you got to do to get it. So if you actually want that, you're going to have to pick it up. So we had one of those conversations about a year in. And since then, she was on, she started out at 280, about 280, 285. She was on 4 or 5 different blood pressure prescriptions. 2 years later, she just stepped on the scale last week, under 200. She was
nice.
198 and a half.
Yeah.
She's on 1 blood pressure medication, and she doesn't have to take that as much as she used to.
Nice.
So we eventually got that. She's one of my favorites. I just recently started training her daughter, but my favorite, probably as far as training women, I have a lady that I train over in Uptown. She just picks it up as soon as I give it to her. She started off the first couple weeks because she's naturally a slim girl. She used to run track. I think she just turned 30, so now her hormone levels are dropping. She's retaining body fat a little bit differently.
Yeah.
She's having a hard time coming to grips with that. But we finally got her diet right. It only took having that conversation once, and she's taking off now. So I think she's my favorite. She's probably one of the smoothest transitions I've had as far as training women.
So with that saying, with your clients, or with just, I guess, trainer in general, how much of it is psychology? As far as like you have to listen to these, I mean, that's
so you do turn into once, because I think that's with anybody though.
Yeah.
You spend enough time around people, you start to get comfortable around them.
Yeah.
We do turn into a therapist sometimes. Not so much as helping people solve problems, but just having to listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes part of the workout, we'll cut half the workout short
Yeah.
just because they need to vent.
Boy, don't I know it. Anyway. Like I'm thinking that maybe one day when you retire from all this, you're going to write a book called like Confessions from a Personal Trainer or something.
Hey, hold on. That's how you get the next Rolex right there.
Yeah. I might need to start working on that now.
Hold on, why is it all gonna be about me, bro?
Yeah.
It's probably going today.
So yeah, we do turn into that therapist, man. It's and then you make friends out of it, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes, believe it or not, and you have to catch yourself sometimes, but sometimes we need to vent too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
People bring all that stuff to us, and it just sits on our shoulders. Sometimes we have to let some stuff out too.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Well, what's like one of the funniest excuses someone gave you for not avoiding a workout or coming in or working out?
Because they're sore.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah.
I never said that yet. Thank God.
Yeah, I get that all the time. And
I'm too sore. I can't come in.
yeah. And especially after, because I explained all the bases of the workout in the beginning. The first 2 weeks, especially if we're going to strength training first, you're going to be extremely sore. You're going to hurt. The worst thing you can do is stop now and wait for it to stop hurting and then come back. Because now you just got to break those same muscles.
Yeah,
It's
it's
going to
gonna
do
hurt
it again.
And it's going to do it just again. You're just going to consistently start over.
But I personally like being sore in a good way because I'll start feeling it in the afternoon. Not when I'm done, but like when I start feeling it in the afternoon. And then when I go to bed, wake up the next morning, it's like, oh, those muscles have relaxed. And now having pain getting up. Not pain, but, just like.
It makes you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it does.
You know, I got a question for you.
What's up?
So remember, we just talked about hard-headed, clients. Have you had one that maybe was just so poor, had such poor hygiene that made you want to maybe cut the workout short, or like let's just say this person's BO was off the roof?
How bad did Albert smell?
Oh man,
no, I don't think I've ever had that.
Oh man, I've always wondered that because I'm like, I've worked out around maybe like a public gyms. And there's certain people maybe who just don't really care about their hygiene.
Nah, I've never had that.
Man, I'll tell you, that's something you can really do experience in commercial gyms.
Yeah.
Luckily, I never had to deal with it in my private gym.
Yeah.
The commercial gym I would go to back in the day, like the Planet Fitness, sometimes LA Fitness. Dude, there's some people who's just, they don't care about their BO.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have to work out next to them. And sometimes I'm like, oh, man, let me go do my curls over here now. Let me just act like I'm going to go do a different type of workout, but I'm doing the same thing just in a whole different area. But I'm thinking, imagine if the trainer, like if a trainer is working out with someone and their BO is just really bad. Imagine like you had to be sitting there.
Well, it's not the BO, it's probably the BS that's really bad.
That too.
I believe it. I just don't have a lot of, that's probably something that's bigger in commercial gyms.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of experience there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you had your own little Jim Jones situation.
Yeah, when I first started, man, it was a small town, Louisiana. That's when I was working in banking. So I get out from the bank. It was a gym right down the street. And the guy, I think I wanted to come in and I wanted to record a workout that I was doing with a couple people. And for whatever reason, he didn't want me to do it. And so I said, it's okay, cool. I paid my money here, so I just said that was going to stop. So I stopped paying after that month. All the extra money that I had for the next few months, I just bought all my own equipment, transformed my garage into it, and people just paid me directly.
Yeah.
It's been going ever since.
Okay,
So-
that's actually pretty cool.
I actually do have at least one more question.
Yeah.
A lot of people, of course, they struggle with stomach fat, right? So, I mean, as you can tell, I'm not your peak pinnacle of health.
I got you.
But if you were to say, maybe a couple exercises that people could work on their core on, that way, they can start losing guts. What would that entail?
I wouldn't start with any workouts. If you're over about 25% body fat, it's not a workout that you can do to spot train. It is impossible to spot train. That's probably another bigger mistake that people make.
Yeah.
They think they can burn fat in one spot.
No, they can't.
Yeah, it's not possible. What you have to do, you have to cut your calories back. You have to burn more calories than you take in. And what happens there, your genetics will determine where you're going to lose the body fat at first. So let's say if you're happy with the size of your legs, but you're not happy with the size in your stomach. Unfortunately, you're going to lose fat everywhere. And you got to keep losing it until you get your stomach where you want it at. And then you have to go back into a high-protein diet and start weightlifting for your legs so you can get your legs back bigger to where you transform the mass that was in your legs from body fat to muscle mass while keeping the calories low enough to where you're not putting on extra body fat in the stomach.
Okay.
So it's a process. It's a process. You got to burn the fat. If you want to see your muscles, you got to burn the layer of body fat on top of it. If you want your muscles bigger, you got to go back into a calorie surplus diet so you can get those muscles bigger.
So Albert had his fingers crossed when he was cutting. He's like, please don't let it come from my ass or thighs.
No, and luckily, like he just said, genetics. Luckily, because I was ready for that, because that's one thing I kind of did have that argument with you, and I don't know, you could remember that. It was more of like I would lose the weight, but then I'm like, oh man, now I'm starting to get too skinny, and I'm losing power. Fuck that. Go back to eating, and then vice versa. I was bulking. I'm like, now I'm getting too fat. I don't want it. And he literally just said, bro, just cut the bullshit. Which one do you want?
Yep, you got to pick one.
And since then, we did that. And now when I am cutting, he's like, I literally tell you, he's like, man, I look smaller. And he's like, it's good though. And I was like, but I am going to lift a little bit heavier. I'm not changing up the diet part because I refuse to do that, because that to me is where you kill it yourself. And I really did take everything that you did tell me what to do, how to do, the regimen, the eating habits, all that. I really did take more into a serious note besides just the gym, and that really did help. And I do appreciate you on that. That part is where I do. I have been telling people now, get a trainer, because when you hit that plateau, that's where it really hits you, because you won't know how your body really is until someone on the outside is looking in for you, and that's where you're going to start seeing a lot more strength. And that's where Marty did. Marty's now like. Remember, he sent us a shoulder picture that he has? Dude, man, he's starting to get cut.
I actually have shoulders. I didn't realize that. I'm all like, dang, what happened? Where did this guy come from?
And
but also, if you remember when we were doing, when I would lift hand weights, I would tell you that this is the weaker arm and whatever, but that has gone away. Like I feel like a little kink or something where it's like I couldn't lift as much with this one, but
now
it's just completely gone away, and it just took time and all that. Before we got to start wrapping it up, but a couple of things. Number one, the number one question, I guess, that what exercises can a guy do if they want to put more power or more strength back when they're fucking?
hip thrust.
A bunch of hip thrusts.
Thrusts.
Believe it or not, you want to work your abs. Now, the ab work, you do have workouts for that. Anything where you're using your legs to activate the abs. So you hit the lower abs, the waistline, stuff like that.
Wait, go a little slower. I got to write this down.
And don't avoid leg day.
I actually love leg day. I love leg day.
Do not avoid leg day.
Yeah, okay.
Ray.
Hey, calling people out now.
I know, right?
That's my boy, but I'm gonna let him know. Hey, come catch me, man. I'm ready for you. Leg day.
4 reps, time under tension, all of that All of that helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be writing that down. I'll pass out cards to you guys a little bit later with all that reminder. Now, if somebody wants to work with you, like, how would they get a hold of you? What's the best way of getting a hold of you?
Easiest way is on Instagram right now.
Okay. How would they find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is, and let me make sure I have it right for you.
Yeah.
It is.
Because they find someone else. It's like, wait, he didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah. Jim Jones. That's GYM Jones _ 2017 _
It would literally be right under you right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that
that
way
right
we
there.
would see it.
That would be the easiest way to get to me. From there, we can discuss like what would be a better way of communication between the two.
Okay.
Then I'll give my number out.
Okay. Sounds good. Most definitely. So, first of all, I do want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man.
We have a ton of more questions to ask that obviously we don't have time for, but definitely we'll want to invite you back, maybe sometime real soon.
Yeah.
That we can continue the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Because we got a lot more planned out.
Yeah, because I know the other guys definitely had questions that they wanted to ask as well.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, yeah, we do have some other stuff that's kind of planned out. So hopefully real soon we'll
man.
definitely have you back. You know how to get here now. So
Anytime, man. I'll make it happen. Just let me know.
okay, absolutely. Any last thoughts, guys? Last comments?
Thank you for coming on for us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for waiting for my late ass.
Yeah. Ain't no problem,
Yeah.
man.
Man, all I can say is I appreciate you, brother. I really do, because the weight journey, and I hope Marty does put up my before and after pictures that I have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because
It was a busy day yesterday, but
Yeah.
they'll definitely be
They'll
up while
be-
we're talking.
they have to, because I will say that you really did help me transform from being a
fat ass.
teenage fat bastard
Yeah.
into a adulting chubby guy. I will say that, but I appreciate you so much, E. I'm glad I was able to get you on this show.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
glad Marty found his spot for you to get you in here, and I know we're gonna get you back in.
Yeah, I'll be
Can't
here,
wait.
man.
Can't
I'm waiting on it.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. All right, that's going to do it this week for the House of Machismo podcast. Next week, as always, have no idea what we're going to do, but it's going to be awesome, great. So remember, be cool, be awesome, be kind.
Stay
You know how it
safe.
goes.
Peace out.
Bye, everybody.